Oh boy. All right.
One of the
Let's
most
dive in.
challenging spreads I think I've ever
I
seen.
think I've ever attempted, really.
The first card is the core essence, which is
Core
the center
essence.
card. And it represents the collective energy of humanity at this moment.
The collective.
The collective energy of humanity at this moment.
That's a damn good question. All right. The collective energy of the collective consciousness at this moment, what we're all feeling. And I think it has a lot to do with, I mean, in general, everything has changed. Everything has changed. There's not a single thing that hasn't. There's not a single thing that remains the same from the moment the pandemic broke the world. Everything has changed. That is where we are all at. We are all at, we're still there. Nothing feels Nothing feels as it did before. Nothing feels real, right? We have a feeling of things not feeling real. All of what was stable before has changed collectively. Are we're no longer trusting, we're no longer caring, compassion goes away because it's all been replaced with fear and worry and concern, and we've forgot how to be empathetic. We've lost our money. We've lost our ability to create or to freely express ourselves. It feels like there's a iron grip around our throats and around what we're able to say and do and how we can behave and be around our peers and other people. There's a sense of unfairness that people from the top who are given the power of being at the top have done wrong. And this is globally. This is not just wherever I live. This is collectively. Everyone feels this exact same way. This heavy burden of I was promised a better future and I'm getting shit. I'm getting shit out of luck. I'm getting, pretty much the tail end of this deal. Can we stop him from chewing?
No chewing, buddy.
Sorry, bud. Just kind of brings me brings me back to reality too much. Give him something to chew on, yeah. Thank you. Collective consciousness feels like they were gypped, like they were sold a bag of beans, and they were. I feel like there's a lot of anger, confusion, displaced anger, especially. Definitely displaced anger, because we aren't all pointing to the big bad reason as to why we're all feeling this way yet. We're still pointing fingers and, trying to uproot structures that we think, political structures specifically, that we think are the ticket thing, that if we take that down, if we kick in that door, we're going to start feeling things start changing. We're going to start seeing things become something new. Or maybe that structure, if once we burn it down, maybe that holds the answer to us feeling better. But the problem is the only one consistent thing to come out of the reality of all of the structures being that we are tackling being not the source is that the source is the whole root system. So how do you deal with the whole root system? Well, we're not there yet. We're still trying to figure that out. But collectively, we feel the weight of the decisions of other people that we have had no control over what they do and how they do it with our lives. So I think that's where we're at right now, feeling like we were promised a cookie and we got no cookie. And that sucks. Totally sucks.
He's
Why
like,
does he have to grab another ball? It's like he knows. He's like, I know you have to work right now, so let me distract you. All right. What's the second question?
second
Freaking
question.
doozy of a question, I swear.
This one, I think, is one of the most challenging questions I've ever seen on a tarot spread ever.
Yeah, me too.
Past influences. This card will illuminate key historical events shaping our present collective consciousness. That is
That's a
easier said than
whopper.
done.
And the card is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Right next to the King of Pentacles reversed. I'm just going to go back to it because that's what feels right, because that's where we're at now. That's just how it is. It is a pandemic. It is COVID-19. Oh my God, I said it. It is the words that you feel unsafe to say, to talk to your friends with. How did it even get that way? Is anyone asking themselves that? This recent historical event has so warped and changed every facet of our reality in the current moment. It's quite impressive when you look at the whole machine as a whole instead of just as like little moving parts. You're just like overwhelmed by how many things have changed about your reality. I bet you could trace back like those 10 pounds you've gained from the pandemic. I bet you can trace back how your daily schedule has changed, how your relationships have changed, how you relate to yourself, how you relate to your money. I mean, let's talk about all the things that are no longer the price of what they used to be. What about experiences? All of these things have collectively totally changed because we went through a crack, a collective tower falling for all of us, all of us at one damn time. And that change has impacted the consciousness in every way. We all think and feel because we are the way that we do because we are shifted in that direction currently. That's where we're at right now. That's how we feel because that's what we went through together. And I think it's going to be several years, possibly even generations until they don't feel the weight of what this pandemic brought and will bring and will continue to bring to them. I think that it's going to be a very long time before the collective consciousness goes, oh yeah, remember COVID-19? Yeah, like way back when, like 2020, when was that? Yeah, I think it was like 2019 or something. Oh yeah, like it's gonna be a long time before we're there, before people are not affected by what's happened with this whole virus situation thing. Okay, card 3.
Card number 3 is Present Realities, which is the card on the right. It says, reflects the current state of humanity, both challenges and strengths.
Oh, absolutely does this represent humanity right now so much. Oh my God, because we are beautifully torn in either one of two directions. We're either torn towards doing the right thing or not doing the right thing. And that is a big split. When you talk about strengths and weaknesses of both of those realities, it's the precipice of who you are. It's the everything essence-ness of why you're here, of what you're trying to build on, of everything you're trying to create. Morality versus immorality, balance versus imbalance. And you've got two varying the polarities of both of those issues of that singular issue of do good or not to do good. I think that there are a great many people in the world that want to do good, that expressly, they put their best foot forward, they do all their things, they do everything they can to try their best, to do their best every day, to be a shining example, or at least to not be an asshole, right? I think there's a lot of people out there that are trying not to be assholes, that are trying to just be good people. And then there are the people that know about those people and already have one foot ahead, one step ahead. And those folks are pushing the buttons, they're printing the money, they're, cashing the checks. And all of those folks are purposefully pushing the bubble to pop. And I think those are the folks that, unfortunately they are ahead of the good folks because well, that's their whole journey. We have good and then we have bad. We have positive and we have negative. We have these two sides that are constantly converging with one another, constantly fighting for, you know, for balance. There's always going to be those two sides, only those two sides. So right now we have a lot of strength and determination and goodwill and harmony and desire for better and belief in more in the fight for those that are good, as well as we have, feeling like it's all worthless, like none of it matters, like literally everything you try to do won't really matter because the next person's just going to be a shit show anyway, so what does it matter, as the weakness. And then when you've got the negative side, you've got these people that want to see the world burn. And I think that's a negative because, most people don't want to see the world burn. Most people actually want it to thrive. And I would say a strength for that is it wakes up the people that aren't aware. I think, these kind of destructive acts, they do call to a sense of empowerment the people that are still sleeping, and that sucks because that's just always got to come in such a brutal, horrible way. It's never easy. So that's what I'd say for number 3.
That's a great one. I think it's a tough thing to handle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tough thing to swallow, but easier knowing that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
4 is aspirations and ideals. Top card. Unveils the shared dreams and aspirations uniting people across the globe.
I think everyone wants to be an influence of something else. Everyone else is rushing to join the social circle that is the video world, that is being in front of a camera, saying something different, being a trendsetter. Because here's the thing, here's what's coming is the big change in how we do you know, how we do our social lives, how we live our lives. I think that's what we're really going to be experiencing over the next 10 to 25 years is this huge shift in going from the likes and the subscriptions and the share my channels to an actual social platform that creates, public opinion of you, that allows for you to become a part of a part of citizenship in an entirely different way, much more how do you present if how you present yourself completely matters of how you live your life on earth. I think that we're going to definitely move in that direction. So we're seeing a lot of people now um, trying to join that social circle, because right now it is the year of join or do not, do or do not. There is no try. And if you don't want to be a part of the social circle that is this, hierarchy, like, five starers that are going to be at the top of the shit, when this social circle comes around, like A-list celebrities and A-list people, um, if you're not going to be part of that, where do you fall? And are you okay with that? Because this year, next year, the window of who's going to be able to join this social circle is going to go from this to this. It's going to be the size of a butthole before anyone realizes it. And you're shit out of luck if you're not a part of it. I think that we're all racing to find ourselves, whether we're going to be at the frickin' top or not. Number 5.
What is that the saying they used to have? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
At least one.
At
At
least
least
one.
one.
At least one.
I may have 2. I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it, but I won't. This is a tarot reading. We're supposed to be professional.
That's not how we're doing it anymore.
No, never.
We're going to do it more real.
More real. All right, tell me number 5.
Number 5. Challenges to overcome. Bottom card. Highlights common hurdles faced collectively, encouraging growth and resilience.
Okay, just read that to me again. It's a lot of waffle.
So that card is highlighting common hurdles faced collectively,
Common hurdles faced collectively. Okay.
encouraging growth, like encouraging
Encouraging
growth
growth
and resilience.
and resilience. Okay. All right. The biggest mistake, the biggest issue, and I speak for everybody because it's the humanity spread. The biggest issue we collectively are facing is none of us have a clue how to hold on to our money, and this is not our fault. Okay, this is not. It's a little bit our fault. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's entirely not our fault, but for the most part, it is not on us. Why? Well, we were given a broken world. Given a broken world, and then the pandemic, which is the main focus of this specific spread, the pandemic came and it really destroyed um, every every financial system. It came and imploded it. It came and made it even more worthless than it was. And the only thing that we now trade with is our own debt, is our future's debt, is our generations, our children's, all the debt. That's all we have left because nothing else holds value in it. I mean, it's not going to be too far from now where like uh, a gallon of milk is $50 in America. It's not going to be that long from now. So it's something to really say that this is a collective issue. I would say that collectively we have no idea how to save our money, but that's not even the issue anymore. It's not, because it's no one wants us to save our money anymore. Why? Because it's not worth anything anymore inherently. I mean, not entirely yet, but eventually it will be completely yeah, completely not worth anything. And when that happens, I think we have a real, well, we already have a big issue. We already have a big struggle on our hands. This whole thing is like a total, this is not good, right?
I think the hardest thing about saving is it's really plain and simple and painfully obvious, is just that the margin of disposable income is no
Mm-hmm.
longer there. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like this stuff, it's easy to be like, for us to all say, yeah, we don't really know. We don't really know how to save, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not so much as it's a not knowing how to save, because it is literally impossible, because back
Mm.
in the day, disposable income was, oh man, well, you've been spending all of your money on insert XYZ stupid thing here. You
Just
spent
stop doing
you
that
spent all
and
your
you'll have
money on,
money.
like in the, especially
Yeah.
like, think about like the 70s and like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Stop spending all your money on baseball cards and video games and put it in a savings account.
Yep.
And back then, when there would actually be a high return on the money that you put away because you had extra money.
Yep.
When you're having to choose, like, all right, well, I can save, or I can have gas for my car for the rest of the week.
Yep.
Then you really don't know how to save. You literally do not know how, because it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
I miss disposable income being easy. That was a fun time for us all.
Yeah, and look at how much more we have to work. Everyone has to, the workforce has been just like tripled and no one told us because like everyone just decided not to work and then not go back to work and then put this huge stress on the businesses that were still big and in power, but no one wanted to work. So then we lost a bunch of businesses and now we're all trying to work because we don't have money, and it's just an endless cycle. And this also is saying too that like it's what was the specific question again? These are just so, I want to make sure I'm going the right direction.
So it's highlights highlights common hurdles faced collectively that have encouraged growth and resilience.
Okay. you know um I would say too that this has a lot to do with just, without it being even about money, without it being even remotely about finances, this is too just about being able to do for ourselves in a way that you feel like you have time for. No one has time for anything anymore. No one, our time has been taken. Our faith, our hope, our everything has been taken and crushed over and over and over again. And I think that has a lot of weight on it. And there's specifically I mean, there's only so many things that you can do when they decide to change the way that they are going to, value the dollar, right? So we can't really do a whole bunch with that. But what we can do is we can start planning for this weird nebulous future, whatever that means for you. Whether or not that means getting yourself some chickens and some goats and learning how to be a farmer, I don't know. Or if that means, um, just starting to have more, um, a hustling more. It really, there's so many different things here, but unfortunately it means that you still have to expend a shitload of your energy doing stuff that you may not necessarily want to do, just to try to provide for this future. And it sucks because the things that we wanted to do, I think that's another thing to call out too, is the things that we were excited for life for, the things that we wanted to go and experience, those have kind of lost their magic a little bit. They're not as interesting or exciting to go and like be a part of. It's just not the same. It's different somehow. So that's another thing too to think about. What's card 6?
Card 6 is connection with nature. Illustrates the relationship between humanity and the natural world, emphasizing harmony or imbalance.
Is this 6 or 8?
8.
Hmm. So our relationship to Mother Earth. There's slight improvements. There's slight improvements. Slight, very minor improvements that have helped a little bit. Some of the reefs have come back. Some things have come back. Some things. These are not always within our control, but the things that are within our control, we just keep forging head on, and we're never gonna learn before we could have, before it's too late, before we arrive at the doomsday moment. We're never gonna learn at that point. It's always something that's like this nebulous thing that, um, if if we had only done this sooner, well, we knew to do it sooner, but we chose not to do it. We kept just, you know, taking as much of that resource as possible. I think that most of us are completely disconnected from the earth, from our natural energy fields, just in general, in our personal lives. I think there's a lot of disconnect there where people are just unsure or unwilling or so trapped in their um, so trapped on their screens that they can't connect to earth. They can't connect to the things that are around them, to the energy of all things. And there's no want there to make that connection for a lot of people. I'm seeing a lot of people being stuck in that same kind of mundane, you know, energy field of, I don't want to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I'm just living like a zombie behind the screen. And that's that really harms our ability to ever connect with the earth and ever connect with our full experience as human beings, spiritual beings having a human experience on this planet. Stupid. All right,
Yeah,
number 7.
it's hard when you're because we can all feel it too. And that's the toughest thing is most of us feel like we can feel it, but there's nothing that we can do about it. And there's a lot of things that we can do about it in our day-to-day lives to try to offset things like our carbon footprint and all of that. But at the end of the day, it is tough to know that the earth is not being taken care of well,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately there's very little we can do about it.
Yep.
So, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because then we're like, well, might as well just go back to my screen
Mm-hmm.
because this is, a problem that feels so large. So we have to just keep pushing through and we have to keep trying our best to do the little things that we can in order to help Mother Earth out. Because collectively, if we all make little steps, big things can happen.
You sound like a spokesperson. I love it.
It's true, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what the population of the whole Earth is,
You don't have that information
Mm-hmm.
just right away?
No, but I
Hmm.
know that if we all made one tiny little step in the right direction, it would be very impactful.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm just sad you don't have that data readily available.
Hmm. I will
Hmm.
get back to you on that. Maybe after question number 7.
Oh gosh.
Question number 7, innovations and technologies. Explores the impact of technology and human innovation on our collective journey.
9? Is that 9?
Yes.
9 of Cups. Say the question again.
Explores the impact of technology and human innovation on our collective journey.
Well, shit. I mean, we we all here on this planet right now totally won the jackpot. Are you kidding me? We have won the jackpot and we are so fucking miserable by it that we all just we drive ourselves insane with it. Technology and where we've come and what we've experienced with the internet and what all that has brought since the minute that it started when we were all there for, well, most of us, I don't know about the young people and not knowing about dial up. I don't know about this. I think you guys should go to dial up class and have to learn about the horrors of what it meant to ding 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 ding. You have to know dial up to understand and appreciate the internet's ability to do what it does at the speed and light and it does the things. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. All right. Anyway, I think that at the same time that internet has been a wonder and a miracle and brought so many things together and brought so many people and thoughts and communities together, um, for all the good that it's done. I think it's also it's um it's being used and warped and perverted in ways we never could have thought possible, and it does leave you wondering. It does leave you knowing that you're changed. You are absolutely forever changed. There's not a single person on this planet that can say that they are not changed by the internet. They cannot say that they are not changed by television or by their phones. I mean, we have the ability to learn anything at the drop of a hat. The minute that we have a freaking stupid thought in our brain, we can go and Google about it. Like that changes your experience. And I would say, honestly, that it's not exactly for the better. Can you imagine how many experiences you might have had you not had the internet? I mean, all the things that you could have thought or learned or the connections you could have made in person, the books you could have read, the places you could have journeyed to, the cultures you could have met, but you won't now, maybe ever, because something about it lost its magic or lost its shine because someone else experienced it and posted it online and you changed your mind. You changed your opinion. You decided you didn't want to do that or that wasn't for you, or like, so many things have been forever altered. And I think that the internet has really formed this kind of workforce in itself, which is really scary and unfun, but um, it has also slowed us down from being able to enjoy things fully. I think that you can still experience plenty of joy, but there's a difference in having the internet versus not. And if you've had a blackout for longer than, I'd say 5 or 8 hours, then you know a little bit of what that's like. That sense of not having your phone, not having the internet, it really does change your entire outlook because suddenly everything that you've been zoning out on and zombieing out on it's gone. And all that's left is you and your thoughts and your feelings, and that can be a pretty freaking intense experience. So I think it has done a lot of good. I think it has done a lot of bad. I think that our most recent success and failure will be AI and what we allow it to become. and how we allow it to destroy and how we allow it to save. And I also think that the next biggest thing that's really going to hit the shit wave is how much we allow for this open editing of the internet. I mean, if we're talking about the first ever real life in person thing that can record human history and experience, then we're talking about the internet. And if we are all at the same damn time able to go on the internet and elite and edit the versions of the Alicia Keys opening failure note at the stupid Super Bowl, and then remove any of the original content of her hitting that poor note. I think I think we should be scared, because if we can do that with just music notes, we can do that with everything. We can do that with anything that we want. And then, what happens to the actual collective is we start arguing about it 10 years down the road. Did she really hit that bad note? Did we really hear it? Was it real? Or because the internet has the fixed version of that note, so we don't have to worry about it. It was real, wasn't it? And that's what scares me. And I think that's going to get blown up into many, 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 many things, because I'm sure there have been so many little fixes now, little fixes that none of us really would pay attention to because we're not focused on that. But pretty soon, we're going to start seeing these changes. And then there's going to be some major discussion about how we handle internet, how we handle the world wide web of human beings that are creating their histories online, and how we use that content, and what we can delete and what we can't delete, and what we can change and what we can't change. I think there's going to be some pretty big discussions when it comes to that, because I'm pretty sure, the next thing to fall in line on that and fall on that sword is going to be politics. What happens this year, and the shit that we're going to see get changed on the internet because of, somebody didn't like their hair that day. I don't know. It's so stupid and arbitrary. Like, why the hell did we go back in and fix her sour note? Honey, we all hit sour notes. She hasn't been doing this for, for maybe recently. Maybe she hasn't been doing it for a while, or maybe she was nervous. Who cares? We're humans and we make those mistakes. Like, the fact that we can't make an open mistake like that just blows my mind, because let's go in and edit it and remove all the content that she ever hit that sour note. Hello, there was millions of, how many people were actually watching that day? I mean, I'm pretty sure we all have it in our heads, and now we have it even further in our heads of her stupid one note that was poor and everything else was fine. But let's just go ahead and pinpoint that. I question you, humanity. I question you. All right, next question. I
want to know how many people watched the Super Bowl. 126.6 million people.
So you're telling me that it's okay for the collective to, in the future, argue about whether or not those 126 million people were correct. Watch this become a fucking Mandela effect right in front of our eyes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So I really don't want to hear it. I think that it's crap. I think it's a really poor decision. This is a perfect example of people who get really, really, really like hooked on the Bible, or hooked on, any sort of pattern of belief system, who refuse to look at how humans work. Well, we are a collection of ideas and thoughts, and we're going to bring in different ideas and thoughts, and we're going to change things around, and we're going to, what fits and what works and what we like and what we think works for our best. Like, it's so obvious. So obvious that it's just a constantly changing thing. It's forever changing. But I don't know. Where do you draw the line between what you can remove from history and where you can't? I think that that's going to become a very big part of discussion in the future.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 9 is spiritual insights. Oh, actually, no, I lied. Emotional landscape, card 8, reveals the emotional fabric binding us together, fostering empathy and understanding.
Okay, say it again. It's the emotional body, right?
It reveals the emotional fabric binding us together, fostering empathy and understanding.
Okay, I like it. I love it. Um, I think we all by now know that everyone on this planet has suffered some sort of pain. I think that, I mean, hell, you could even go back to like the 90s, the 80s, and you could look around and you could throw a stone and you would hit someone who hasn't experienced pain and suffering. And that in a big way, in a big way. I'm not just talking like getting a bump and bruise of life. No, I'm talking about like real shit show, kind of like catastrophe, something major has happened. But now you throw a stone and you're not going to find anyone to hit that hasn't gone through a major trauma, a major change, and something that totally redefined who you were, or that felt like it totally redefined who you were. So I think that collectively we have sympathy for that. We have a collective sympathy, a collective conscience of compassion, of care, of love, even at the deepest core for one another. Because there is this, like a monarch effect, the monarch butterfly that always knows to go. I think it's like in Mexico. Where is it? It's like Mexico or freaking, I can't remember. It always knows to go to a specific place every year, not because it's got a scent trail, or not because it's not because it seems like a good idea, but because generations of monarch butterflies have gone there. Generations. So there's a generational coding that happens, and we all pick up on this generational coding. Um, and I definitely feel that's what's happened here, is that we have this generational coding that has happened of empathy, even in the smallest, tiniest measure, for others at the baseline of humanity, because we have all been hurt. And I mean this especially from the time after the pandemic to now. Like, that's this sweet little window where things have really changed and we were brought to our knees as humanity. And because of that, we're able to see a bit more, just a smidge bit more of both sides, of both the good and the bad in people, um, as well as just wanting to be more empathetic towards others. I think that that's what's changed. That's what we're feeling. We gather strength from we definitely gather strength from one another when we are in pain. And the pandemic was one big cry, right? We all felt it and we all were connected by it. So I think that has lasting effects, and there's a sense of wanting to be supportive in some way to someone else, even if you haven't been, friendly with others in a while, even if you're not friends with anyone right now. There's still a wanting to kind of do something do something that connects you, even if it's minor. And I think it comes from this generational coding that we have all been through some shit, and no one smells better than the other person, and it's just kind of how it is, and that's kind of how we are.
Emotional landscapes are sticky.
Yeah, covered in goo. So much emotional goo. Hmm.
Spiritual insights. Card 9 offers wisdom regarding the spiritual evolution and interconnectedness of humanity.
I wasn't listening to that. That was so many things.
It was a lot of
So many
things.
things. What the hell did you say?
All right, so this card is going to offer us wisdom
Oh, good.
regarding the spiritual evolution and interconnectedness of humanity.
Just
So
that's it, right?
just
that.
just that
Just that.
just the wisdom regarding the spiritual evolution and interconnectedness of all humanity, real quick.
All right, real quick. Say it again.
Wisdom regarding the spiritual evolution and interconnectedness of humanity.
Feel. 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 Wisdom. Feel. we are not our parents. We are never going to be able to run away. Not that our parents necessarily run away, but let's say that some of them did. Let's say that their grandparents did, or their parents did, rather. And, you know, their parents we're dealing with wars. We're dealing with being broken in two. The psyche, what the psyche goes through in war, and then those men come home. They have kids, and there's a fracture in the psyche, and this gets copied over like generational coding, just like everything else. And then we have a very big gap in our human experience from our own broken mental faculties, and things that get copied over end up spreading and causing more harm, and then there's harm everywhere and everyone's broken, and then you've got generations of that breakage, and then you have so much of it around you. Wisdom wisdom says to feel, because the only way through is to not run. We don't have that luxury of being able to avoid. This is not a time to be avoidant, nor will it ever become a time to be avoidant in our lifetimes. In our lifetimes, the only way through anything is to feel your way through. You cannot avoid. You have to sit with the feeling of death, of ego death, of what it means to face your shadow side and go, oh, all right. You aren't the prettiest looking shadow in the world, but I accept you 100% for who you are, and I love you 100% for who you are, and I'm not going to run from you anymore. That's the only way through, and that seems impossible for most of us here, but I mean, really, you're just fighting against the current if you don't feel through your issues, if you don't accept and process them. This is no longer a place that we live in that you don't, that you don't have the skills or know how to process, right? I mean, you're given that generational coding from the massive spiritual awakenings that we've had over the last 2 years. There's no way that you don't, because every one of us does. And it's just a how aware are you of your own self-awareness type of thing that I think a lot of us are kind of poking our heads in and out of right now, going, do I have this self-awareness, or like am I still behind this like weird illusion that I've placed in front of me? I think I feel that the spaces that we have had to run to in the past will no longer be there now. And that the more that we try to run away, hide, fight, the more we just get pulled back into the same old things that we have to learn again of how to get out of. And that's a lot harder. Did I mostly cover that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. That was a lot of waffle.
That was a lot of waffle.
Mm-hmm.
The last question
Mm-hmm.
is future possibilities. Provides a glimpse into the potential future path of humanity influenced by our collective actions and choices.
This is where we could be. This is what we could be. This is how it can be.
That's exciting.
It's super
I
exciting.
wasn't really expecting
I wasn't
such a
expecting
positive
this either.
card. That's great.
I wasn't expecting this either. But here's the thing. I mean, there's a double-edged sword here, right? There always is. So I'm gonna talk about the bad first. Bad first is, just because we have the Knight of Pentacles doesn't really mean shit, because just as much of this as it being a positive, uplifting card, we can easily just decide not to do anything with the things that we've learned. We can easily just decide to stand still, to stand resolute, and just be like, nah, I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore everything I've learned and everything that I've done and everything that I've experienced. And I'm just going to repeat the same old things, or I'm not going to try. I'm not going to make a break for any change. I'm not going to make any room for an attempt at new opportunity. Fuck that. I'm just going to stay right where I am. That's definitely one side of things, right? There's this, it's still a big sense of entitlement, right? It's a huge sense of entitlement that I don't have to do anything. I'm not the one that fucked it up. I don't have to fix it. I don't have to try. I'm not the one that broke it, so why do I have to try? Well, you have to try because we don't have a choice. We have to try because you don't have a choice, because your kids don't have a choice, because their kids aren't going to have a choice. Like there's no choice anymore. And that's you taking that out of the equation, you only have do. You only have do better. Do better. Do better. And make plans, make action. Because as great as this card is, if you're not actively taking steps to better your higher self, which is a part of you raising the vibration and frequency of the collective, then what are you doing? Right? You're not participating in the rise of frequency. And so you not taking care of you first and foremost, isn't helping the collective. So when you take care of yourself, you help take care of the collective. That's one big thing that we all need to talk about. The energies that you feel, even though you feel they are entirely your own, there is a collective consciousness within that. So whatever you're vibrating at, you're sending that frequency out to the people around you. So depending on how you feel, you can make someone else feel really great or really shitty, right? Just based on your general energy. How many times have you walked into a room and the energy you're feeling shifts to the energy of the other people in the room? Well, that's because we all have a collective sense of what we feel and what we give to other people to feel. And that's where it starts. It starts with how we feel. So we can either decide to be total assholes and do nothing for the environment and do nothing for the collective conscious and just decide to go with the flow and do like what we've done, for countless millennia, which is just, oh, we learned all those lessons. Okay, let me just burn it all down. Who cares? And just keep moving, making the same old mistakes. We can keep doing that. Definitely. Or the good news is we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We can take the lessons. We can take the struggles. We can take the experiences. We can take the deaths. We can take the lives. We can take the births. We can take all of reality and form it into something really, really wonderful. We can. And here's the thing is we're at the precipice where we have, we're getting closer to having our shot, to having our chance. I think that we really need to seriously consider what we want that to look like, what we want this world to be, how we want to leave it behind. I mean, do we want to be the people that didn't do anything about it just because our parents and our grandparents broke it? Like, no, I mean, that's ridiculous. Let's like, what are we gonna go do? Just go cry about it like a bunch of like high school girls in a bathroom? Like, it doesn't make sense. So we can't do that forever. We can't mope around it. We can't complain about it and then be surprised that nothing changes. So there's a sense of picking your shit back up, whatever that means. If it means literally just throwing, you know, there's a literal sense. If it means throwing your pop can in the recycling instead of leaving it outside of your door for someone else to step on, then do that. Whatever it means for you. It means elevating yourself in a new direction, deciding to be the better person, deciding to be the one that is more elevated. I think that we have a chance for greatness, but we have to not be lazy. We have to start caring at least a little bit. We have to not be assholes to the people around us. We have to at least try just a little bit to be a little bit better than the grumpy person ahead of us. Because if we don't, we're all going to turn into giant gaping buttholes who just hate one another all the time, who barely communicate and sound like this when I talk. And I really don't want to live in a world where people sound like whiny bitches who don't get anything done, right? Doesn't sound too fun to
If
me.
everyone's just buttholes when they talk, would it just be farts?
It would be farts or it would be poop.
Oof.
Yeah. Shitty, shitty world.
Man,
Yeah.
staff meetings would be shit.
Yeah. All meetings would be shit. But that's kind of what we're talking like now. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Well, that was one of the most challenging spreads I've ever seen. I thought that was really cool. I think
Cool.
there's a lot of things that we can all take away from and learn from this. So,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done a more challenging spread and I loved it. I think I think it's a fun new direction. I think I want to do these each month.
let us know what you think. This is a new style of doing things, and it's been really fun and really insightful, and
Really
there's a
crazy.
lot of things to think about.
Yeah, a lot of things that we can take away from this is all also for just throwing that out there. This is for the energy currently of February. I'll just say for the month of February 2024. This is just the remaining energies and just kind of giving a summary of everything that has happened in the past and everything that has been caused by the happenings of the past. So, where we are currently, I think it's going to be a good reading to kind of sum up where we're going next. So, I'll do another one of these in March and we'll see how things have changed by then. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments below because we are dying to know what you guys think, and we will see you guys all back here next time. Bye for now.
Bye.